Hey, what's up guys, it's ElasticSpyder, and in today's video we're going to be looking at a community replay, and in this replay we've got the Albino Shimakaze, and I do hope you guys stay tuned because this is one heck of a replay, especially when we get towards the end results, so be sure to stay tuned. Alright boys and girls, so we are in a community replay. As I said in the intro, we are looking at a replay from someone that's on the EU server, BIAworldofwarships, and he was one of our first community replays to be featured on the channel. And so it's been a while, but you know, here he is again in the Shimakaze, the Albino Shimakaze. And boy, does this camo look nice. It is a very nice camo. I do like it. But hopefully that won't be the highlight of this video, although it's a great start. So we are playing on the map Shatter, and it is 3-cap domination. He is playing with his buddy in the Hindenburg, super calm, and hopefully he will be super calm this game. Now, if you'd like to send us a community replay, please send it to BIAworldofwarships@gmail.com. Please include the screenshots as well as the replay itself. It'd be much appreciated. Obviously, we do it on Saturdays, so be sure to stay tuned. If you do end up submitting a replay, be sure to check back on Saturdays to see if your video went up. So, the Shimakaze. Well, it's been a while since I've played the Shimakaze. To be honest, I made a Fletcher video on Monday, if you're watching this on Saturday, where I kind of said that the Fletcher's kind of been in my closet. It's been staying in my closet for a long time, and there's maybe some good reasons for that. The Fletcher rather, has kind of been on the back burner. It's been a ship that's obviously it's still good, but sometimes there's just ships that I really want to play over the Fletcher. And in that case, well, you might as well put the Shimakaze in that spot as well. And there's a few reasons for that. Well, I mean, the concealment isn't bad, 5.6. It's actually really good concealment. But when you take into account things like you are super reliant on torpedoes, and the amount of RNG that there has been implemented with torpedoes is kind of frustrating at times. And wow, do we get a nice first blood there. It's only 7,000 damage, but hey, I'll take the first blood in the signal flags any day of the week, as should you. Now, the Shimakaze, it's a fun ship, but it's just, in my opinion, too dependent on one thing, and that is torpedoes. Now, that's not to say that its guns aren't good at all, because they really are. And I mean, just looking at some of the statistics here, I don't want to harp too much on the statistics, but these 127mm Japanese guns do end up doing 2,150 alpha damage, which is quite good. At only 21mm penetration, if you so choose to, you could get that up by 30% with IFHE. Now, it's not recommended, but that is something that you could do if you so desired. But they do hit rather hard, and while the reload isn't fantastic, but it doesn't need to be. That's kind of what the Shimakaze it strives at. It strives at using its detection and surprising the enemy, and basically just saying, hello, there's 3,000, 4,000 damage that you just lost because you're a destroyer, and you don't have as good detection as I do. And that's really the Shimakaze's strengths. Obviously, besides the guns, and it's odd because I always try and focus on the guns in the Shimakaze. Sometimes you just really have to highlight these great torpedoes. Now, it looks like we are using the 12km torpedoes, which is a very good choice, and it is the recommended choice in my opinion, because it just adds so much versatility. Obviously, they are 12 kilometers, but they do fly around at 67 knots, which is really fast. It's not as fast as the F3 torps, or the 8km torps, which I believe go at 72 kilometers or knots, which I don't know what the kilometers per hour calculation is. I think it's slightly higher. So, and oh boy, did we snag that curve first? Yes, we did. It's a nice speed, and it's a great torpedo. It allows you to sit outside of, not by much, but outside of Russian radar or Soviet radar, and very comfortably sit outside of American cruiser radar. Whereas with the 8 kilometers, you really have to get in close with both the Russian and the American radars, and that is just not fun. And the 12 kilometers, that extra range, it really does help you out in a lot of scenarios, being able to hit torpedoes that otherwise you wouldn't have to, especially in situations like this when the enemy team is running away. Now, with that being said, they're not the greatest torpedoes in the world. They do get detected at 1.7 kilometers, which, oof, it can be rough out there sometimes, and I'm sure all Shimakaze players know this. Now, looking here, we've basically just slaughtered people at A, and at this point, there's two options. You can either try and farm these guys and try and stop them from basically doing anything and just kill the whole side, or you can go to B and kind of counter push the guys at C. Now, I think this is the right play here for a couple reasons. If you leave these guys, especially something like a Zhao and a Harugumo, which I guess he's AFK, if you do end up leaving a Zhao though, he will constantly harass your Hindenburg buddy, your battleships, especially when he's on full health like you saw there. North Carolina isn't faring too well, but you do have to take care of these players, and it isn't an important thing, and it sucks trying to chase people to the map border, but sometimes it just needs to happen, and that's what we're going to see here. Now, you guys might be thinking, well, it's 7 minutes in, when is the action going to start? Don't worry, it's coming, it's coming. When I was looking through this replay for the first time, and I was looking at the post-battle results as well, oh man, does it get interesting later on. So you just gotta wait a little bit. You gotta be patient. That's all. Now, for builds on the Shimakaze, I don't want to harp on this and take too much time on this, but we can see survivability expert being used here. I would assume priority target and last stand, and then concealment as well is a pretty obvious one. Now from there, well, we've got RPF. Now typically I don't recommend RPF, just because I think it can be useful in a lot of scenarios. And boy, these torpedoes look amazing. Can we free cam this? Those torpedoes look amazing, and RPF isn't always the best thing possible, but if it's up to you and you really do like RPF, then that's just your thing. And let's go and free camp for this. Oh, look at those torpedoes. Are we going to get the North Carolina? Yes, we will with one. We dev strike the Zhao. It looks like the North Carolina is still barely alive, but we do manage to kill that Zhao. And will we get that kill on the North Carolina? No. No, not quite. He is going to be alive on 126 HP, but our friend in the Hindenburg does manage to get him. Boy, that was a very nice torpedo launch, and that is something that Shimakaze does great. It just takes a lot of torpedoes, focuses them into one area, and you just go ham. And that's amazing. And it's such an awesome feeling, too, when when people are just running from you the whole game, and then finally you get to launch those perfect torpedo set, and then you just watch all your torps land, or 2 or 3 of them land, and you just are feeling good. That is one of the best feelings in World of Warships, landing torpedoes, and I'm sure BIAworldofwarships is loving it as well. So we bomb our DCP there. I don't know what was actually spotting us at that time. Do they have a radar cruiser? Des Moines is over there, so it must have been the Hindenburg Hydro, which is a bit interesting. Interesting choice, and that's going to be a bit difficult for BIAworldofwarships to counter this this great German Hydro on the Hindenburg, but he's going to try anyway, because why not? You might as well try. Maybe his Hydro is going down or something. The German Hydro is very, very nice, and just hydroacoustic in general is very nice for detecting torpedoes. So we'll have to see if this Hindenburg's paying attention or not. Now we do have to be careful, because that Henri will actually be able to run us down if we're not careful. But luckily for us, he goes down, and we're going to be kind of circling back in. Now, most people would say in this situation, well, yeah, you're right, Spider. Like, you have to go counter those people that are in You have to counter those people that are on the I line or the J line, because if they come back, then it's going to be a train wreck. And you're right. And you might also say, well, why would you stay outside here? And I might have to agree with you. I don't really know why. Now, we were kind of pushed away with that by that Henri and that Hindenburg, but it looks like we have refocused ourselves and are going back to the cap, because we noticed that the gearing has been spotted, and well, the last known position and angle he was pointed right towards B, so we should expect him to be going there rather soon. Now, I'm not too sure what we're doing here. It looks like we're just doing some random torpedoes where the gearing was last spotted. A bit interesting. I guess we don't care about our torpedo to hit ratio. And if you do play the Shimakaze a lot, you probably are experiencing a very, very low torpedo hit ratio. And that's kind of to be expected. Because a lot of times, I remember Sneaky always saying this, how can you just miss with all your torpedoes? And it's actually very, very surprising how you can miss a lot of these torpedoes in the Shimakaze, because you've got so many and they reload decently fast. Now with Adrenaline Rush, obviously they go a little bit faster too, but nonetheless, it's rather poor. So, modules wise, I know I kind of discussed the captain perks. Module wise though, it's kind of up to you, but for the most part, it's pretty standard destroyer build. You know, main armaments, propulsion, accuracy. You could do propulsion again if you so desire. The Shimakaze is actually quite nimble. I believe it's got around a 3-second rudder shift, so it's quite nimble for being such a I guess a long ship. It is rather long. I mean, if you're looking at it, it's got 3 turrets, 1 in the front, 2 in the rear, and then 3 torpedo tubes, and well, yeah, like I said, it's a long ship. Now, one of the things that I've found, at least in my experience with playing the Shimakaze, is being able to use that rudder shift against other destroyers is actually quite helpful, and especially dodging other people's shells as well. That's also very important as well. So it's something you might consider, and you can kind of counteract that, counteract the propulsion. The need for propulsion by using your speed boost. Obviously, you need to have enough speed boosts to be able to utilize that, though. Now, the legendary mod, I don't know if it's worth it, honestly. I haven't even started my grind on the Shimakaze. I can't really tell if BIAworldofwarships is running it here, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Now, anyway, with that kind of like out of the way, we have to, well, our team is throwing, honestly. It's a even matchup, despite the fact that the enemy team does have a lot more HP on the board. And let's look at these torpedoes. Let's see if we can't catch them again before they smack that curve first, potentially. Oh, he just barely dodged those torpedoes. Lucky him. But the Yamato, where's that Yamato? We're going to get one. And that's it. We only get 1 torpedo hit on that Yamato here, but it did look like we got a flooding, and he is still flooding. So that's good for us. That means that Yamato has not burned his DC, or he recently DCP'd, and we are getting constant flood damage, which is awesome. And well, we're gonna have to go out of this cap. Unfortunately, it looks like those planes are looking to spot us. Now, besides our are you trying to get stream sniped, BIAworldofwarships? Are you streaming right now and I just don't know it? And that Arrow X Snipe, what a name! He's literally trying to snipe you. But nonetheless, we're gonna get spotted by that plane again, and well, we don't want to die for no reason. That would just be reckless, and at this point, there's really no need to. We can basically just sit at range and either spam HE, spam torpedoes, and like I said earlier, that's one of the nice things about having those 12-kilometer torpedoes, is the range on them is quite nice. Now that Yamato, well, he finally stopped flooding, and after, I think, 35,000 damage, well, he's almost dead. Now this Hindenburg is looking quite dead as well. I don't know if it was necessary to throw all of our torpedoes, but might as well secure the kill, because like I said, sometimes the torpedoes are rather interesting. And oh my gosh, our Roma goes down to the Gearing, who ends up detonating him. But luckily their Yamato goes down, and it's not looking amazing here. Now, here's one thing I forgot to kind of mention, is that as I was kind of saying, like, it was maybe a little bit reckless launching all those torpedoes. Like, let's say this Hindenburg managed to get around here, and then he's constantly spotting you. Well, what are you going to do now? You know, it's going to be difficult for you to kill him since your guns aren't so good. Thankfully, we do get lucky. We do pick up a kill there with only one torpedo hit. But just thinking ahead of yourself, and, you know, always thinking the worst case, like what happens if my torpedoes hit the island, or maybe he lives for some miraculous reason. But nonetheless, we do pick up that kill there, that very important kill, and we do manage to smoke our Hindenburg buddy, even without Superintendent. So I'm guessing you are using was it survivability expert and then torpedo expertise. That would be my guess if I had to guess. But it looks like here we just have to finish off this curve first, keep kiting him. Our Hindenburg buddy really can't do much. He is in a bit of a pickle. Obviously, if he goes out, he's going to get spotted. And let's see if he does actually. And it doesn't look like the curve first managed to lock onto him right away. So we're going. And oh my gosh, he's shooting HE. I guess it's not a bad decision on such a low HP ship, but we'll have to see if that pays off for him. Let's see, super calm. Is he being calm? He looks pretty calm. He just has to get behind the smoke screen, and then he should be okay. Unfortunately, like I said, it looks like our torpedoes aren't looking... They're looking alright, but they could be looking better. I think this is actually a nice play here. It's very subtle and very risky too, but it's actually a very nice play. We are purposely shooting that curve first, and many people will be thinking, why would you start shooting that curve first? And it's because when DDs get spotted, typically, and I've got this tendency as well, is battleship players tend to, because they know that the destroyer is not going to be spotted long, they end up trying to turn their ship to get all their guns onto target faster. And by doing that, in this case, BIAworldofwarships perfectly planned it so that the curve first would take a lot of torpedoes. Unfortunately for us, though, the torpedoes will not hit. But that one little torpedo that did manage to cause a flood on the curve first, and we are getting more and more flooding damage, which is very, very fortunate and very lucky as well. But nonetheless, if I was that curve first, I'd be punching myself in the knee right now. Or I forgot how the saying goes, but nonetheless, it's a bit unfortunate for this curve first. Now he is suddenly gone down to very, very low HP, and maybe this is why people are considering, or I guess Wargaming is considering changing how flooding really does work in the game, because, man, was it really like that difficult for BIAworldofwarships to get all that damage? Maybe, I don't know. It was a very nice planned torpedo set, and we'll just have to wait and see how this one ends up. Now, with that plane just going overhead, I think we are safe to launch our torpedoes here. You could probably also launch a torpedo set into the gearing smoke just for the full troll factor, but we'll have to wait and see. With 1 minute left, it's a 2v2. We are up by a little over 250 points. However, the Henri is not going into a very good position. Luckily, he is kiting out, but that curve first, oh no, disaster. That curve first decided to turn in, and this is one of those situations where you really do have to be careful of this island and making sure that when you do go around that corner, you aren't getting spotted. Because had that curve first been a little bit closer, that could have been very, very bad. Luckily for us, though, we still have our smokes available, and we can still do all this fun stuff. Let's get one last. Oh, are we going to do it? Oh my gosh, it's so quick. Oh, it moves so quick. It's okay. We got it. Hey, we got 2 hits. Oh my gosh, that was probably the worst camera work I've ever seen. I tried to zoom in, but my mouse was so sensitive. But that ends the replay right here. Alright, so we ended up finishing that replay very, very close though at the end. but it was rather exciting getting those nice floodings. And holy cow, nearly 2 million credits. 16,000 XP and 3,000 free XP. Devastating Strike, Witherer, First Blood, High Caliber, and I reckon we probably could have been very, very close to a double Witherer. We'll have to wait and see though. 253,000 damage is the amount that we received with 11 torpedo hits, 4 ships killed, very, very close. And where did the 4-goal haul go? Interesting. 1 base capture and 6 enemy ships spotted for a very nice Shimakaze replay. And thank you, BIAworldofwarships, for sending it in. Team score wise, 2,940 for us, and then our buddy in the Hindenburg, who is named Super Calm, and was for the most part pretty super calm throughout this replay, ended up doing a nice 2192 base XP as well, which is nothing to be ashamed about. I'm sure it was that one plane kill that got him up there, right, boys and girls? So, nonetheless, we did manage, like I said, not terribly close. We're about 18,000 damage off from a double Witherer. Still a very nice replay, showcasing the strength of the Shimakaze, which is still its torpedoes, with only 4,000 shell hits. Well, this is pretty much the most accurate thing that I could say for a Shimakaze. If anyone's like, how does the Shimakaze play out, I just point them to this video. I think it's a very, very nice replay, and well, we did take a lot of damage, but we kept our cool throughout and launched torpedoes rather perfectly. And like I said, almost 2 million credits, and wow, look at all those modifiers. There weren't any missions that we completed. It was just all in modifiers, and when you're getting 700,000 in premium base, and then you add on all these multipliers, like holy cow, boys and girls. Let's see, the 50, I see 250, so that's at least 100. I see another 50. I need to see another, what was that, 195% modifiers. My gosh, this is some amazing credit earning potential, and who really does need a Missouri at the end of the day when you've got a Shimakaze and you've got all of these modifiers? I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, and well, comment if you don't, and let us know what we can improve, because we do read them. And again, please send in your replay to BIAworldofwarships@gmail.com. It will be much appreciated. Anyways, I hope you have a wonderful day, guys, and I hope you enjoyed the video as well. I hope you learned something. See you guys later.